Hey, this is Danny from Weird and Wired, and this is a mysterious guitar. It has a lot of features and it is missing one very common feature, and that is a name on the headstock. So what is this guitar? This is a 60s Japanese budget import guitar. I am a huge fan of guitars from this era, and after a little while you're able to spot them a mile off. The giveaways to me were the body shape and the burst finish all over this guitar, as well as the electronics. We've got 3 pickups with individual on-off switches and a mystery 4th switch. But why doesn't this guitar have a name on the headstock like Kay or Teisco, any of those other brands from this era? Did the nameplate fall off? Has the headstock been sanded down, refinished? Has the neck been replaced? Unfortunately, it is nothing as exciting as that. It simply never had a name to begin with. And there are plenty of people who will tell you it doesn't matter what it says on the headstock of a guitar, the only thing that matters is how it plays. So, how does this nameless guitar play? When I first got this guitar, it needed a little bit of work. The bridge pickup wasn't working. Thankfully, it was just a loose solder connection, so a relatively easy fix. The bigger issue, however, was the fretboard. At some point, this had some fretwork done to it, and it left some pretty deep gouges in the fretboard, mostly around the 12th fret, but I managed to fill them in and bring them level with the rest of the fretboard. The frets also feel larger than what I would expect to find on a guitar like this. They're generally quite small frets, but these feel kind of pretty standard for guitars from today. So it's a little bit strange, but you know what? They work a treat. Bixby style trem works relatively well. It's not suited for full-on dive bombing, but giving it a fairly respectable kind of vibrato, it's going to stay in tune. The whole bridge saddle piece did originally have a rubber mute to it, but unfortunately that has been removed in the past. Underneath the bridge saddles was a thin piece of plastic which was inserted to try and minimize the excess string noise and resonance, but it just really wasn't cutting it. If anything, I think it was adding to the overall unwanted noise. So I've removed that plastic and I've actually just used tape to fill in the gap between the saddles and the metal plate. The other issue I was having was the 2 saddles for the high E and the B strings. The original saddles that were on this bridge had much shallower grooves, to the point where someone had previously tried to sand down more of a groove for the high E string, but they would both still jump out of the saddles if you used just a little bit of force with picking. Certainly chicken picking, those strings were just flying out of there. Thankfully, I have worked on one of these bridges before, and it was for a rubber bridge conversion where I removed all of the saddles from that bridge. So I had 6 saddles and I decided to take the saddles from the D and G strings. I've popped those onto this and they work so much better. pickups on this guitar are maybe a little deceptive. They look like these larger soap bar pickups or P90s, but they are in fact just single coils. Each pickup has its own individual on and off switch, which means you can have any combination of pickups you can imagine. That includes having just the neck and the bridge, skipping out the middle, or you can blast all three at once. If you like experimenting with different tones, you could have a lot of fun with this guitar, certainly with the mystery fourth switch, which is a tone switch. Now, I call it a tone switch. If anything, it sucks out the tone completely and it makes the guitar sound really tinny, really microphonic. It completely bypasses the tone control as well. It's a really unique sound, but I think it would lend itself well to lo-fi or garage rock. I absolutely love these affordable 60s Japanese import guitars. I love that these were made as an affordable offering to the guitar market at the time, and it was an option for a lot of budding musicians. Granted, these weren't always the best instruments, but plenty of people got their start with these guitars, and anytime I get my hands on one, I'm a little bit floored that these instruments have somehow survived 50 or 60 years, so I do feel somewhat compelled to get them back up and running and get them in the hands of more people to let them continue to make music. So there we go, this mysterious guitar. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about it and how it sounds. And if you've got any information about this model, maybe you've owned one or played one, I would love to hear about it. Let me know all your thoughts and feelings, and until the next time, keep it weird and keep it wired.